Welcome back, dear listeners. It's a lovely day in the neighborhood to listen to your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast with your friends, David and Kayne.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that. I know you like that.
This is a really good song, actually. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I've never heard this before. I know Mace. Oh, you know Mace? Yeah. And back in the day, Mace had one.
Chicks all wanna smile at me. These rap cats, man, they all got this style from me. And if I ever see them, man, they probably bow to me. And when this beat drop, me and
really
the
popular,
love rolling back to back in one.
The whole New York rap. No, I dig it. New York and West Coast rap scene. And I love this part.
But the game ain't the same since I left out.
So we are back. We're officially back, and hopefully we're sounding okay now as well.
Yeah. Are you sure you've plugged it into
Yes.
the right? Do you want to tell the listeners what happened?
Yes, we were gone for a few weeks on holiday, and when we came back, I forgot entirely how to podcast and how to work the equipment. So last week we might have sounded a bit different because I plugged in the mics into the headphone jack instead of the mic jack. But for whatever reason, it still picked up sound. So I guess this was meant to be, Kayne. We welcome all our new listeners from the U.S. government who's probably now sitting at home not collecting any money. Why not listen to us? Why not? Your favorite podcaster's
You got some
favorite
spare
podcast.
time, and
And please go to iTunes, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, and follow us at Your FPFP.
and tweet us also.
Tweet us at YourFPFP. Why don't we start off with something that's no longer a rumor, which is the Wolves fired Tibbs.
You usually fire a coach after like a string of losses or something, and then you're just like, okay, well, that's the final straw. Like you've compromised our team this year, and it's been enough. But obviously, Tibbs being fired after a win means that this is something that's been brewing for a while, and the owner hasn't been happy with the direction of the franchise or how Tibbs, as president and coach of the team, has run the team. But I guess how I feel is the reason he was fired was he botched the Jimmy Butler trade. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think he handled that well, especially knowing that Jimmy Butler wasn't happy. And obviously, you don't want to just trade every unhappy person, but you have to do it within reason. And Jimmy Butler obviously did not want to be there, and he was also clashing with the franchise players. Well, Cat is the franchise player, really. But also, we weren't seeing enough development from Andrew Wiggins, who has, sky-high potential. And Cat seemed like he was also stalling a little bit, like, in terms of his development.
Right.
So,
is Jabari Parker on that team?
No,
or
Parker's just an injured fool in the Bulls.
Injured? Did you say injured fool?
Yeah, he's always injured.
They're trying to move him.
Are they?
Yeah.
He's got a big contract too.
He was part of that super draft class. Right?
Oh, right, yeah, after Wiggins, right?
Yeah. But
anyway,
anyway,
not super class. But yeah, you're right. It was pretty.
But he was hyped up, right?
Yeah,
he was hyped up.
For sure.
And now they're getting rid of him.
Yeah, especially Andrew Wiggins was considered like, the next generational player kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But do you think overall this was a positive move on the Wolves' part?
I think time will tell, because obviously it hinges a lot on Cat and Wiggins being developed by the right coach and put in the right system. But I think this kind of speaks more, because I think Tibbs is the last of his kind, where he's a dual president and coach. Maybe before that was Doc, but Doc stepped down as president and shared those duties with his assistant head coach. So
that era is gone.
I think that era of like total control is passé now. And
but what do you think about the rumors that Fred Hoiberg is in serious consideration to be the coach? If I was Derrick Rose, I go, how the fuck can I just escape from Chicago somehow? Can I just get out of Chicago?
Well, Derrick Rose is having a renaissance right now.
Under Tibbs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how these GMs or owners decide how to pick coaches, but if you have any sort of resume, even if it's like a bad resume, people will still gravitate towards you. Like the Bulls were obviously like a bad team then, so I can't really say how good of a coach he is. But it seems like his Tibbs replacement right now, which is Ryan Saunders, son of his dad passed away, Flip Saunders. He's doing an okay job right now, holding down the fort. They won a few games under him.
And I'm really happy about that story, but as an organization, the Timberwolves, they are a disaster. They're a dumpster fire. They need to sell that team. That owner does not know what he's doing.
I think, but they have really talented players.
They have really talented players, and that's why the frustration comes in, right? They should be better than they are.
They should be much better, yeah.
And they had Tibbs. Okay, Tibbs, he's old school. He might not necessarily gel with the younger generation of players, but that was a big get.
Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good.
And if you don't like Tibbs, maybe take him out of the GM role, right?
Yeah, I think I agree, but I think you do have to accommodate to your talent, and maybe there was enough sort of noise from the players that they're saying like they didn't want to follow Tibbs' regime of tough practices.
Yeah. The other warning sign is that KG was consulting with that team before.
Oh, really?
In fact, he returned before he retired. I think he.
Oh yeah, he did.
That
He did.
season, he returned to
Yeah,
Timberwolves,
that's
right?
Yeah.
But then there was friction with management, and that didn't work out. Again, it speaks to organizationally, there's some issues there.
They do need
KG is the Wolves.
Of course,
yeah. Right?
Of course.
And,
Took him to the Western Conference Finals.
Players respect KG.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
And if you don't respect KG, then you're probably not the right player for that organization. Totally. Anyway, well, we'll see what happens with the Wolves. I mean, like you said, it's got lots of talent, but they need to be first round exit. Is that good enough?
No, especially when you see because they have two former first overall picks, and they haven't properly gelled, and they haven't really tapped into their potential. But then you see teams like Utah and even the Trailblazers who haven't used even top 5 picks on their players, and they've just done such a great. I mean, I don't think the Jazz are in the perfect picture at the moment, but we know how talented the Jazz can be with Gobert and Mitchell and Ingles, but we'll see.
Next, we have a quick note about Vince Carter. What is this you want to talk about, Vince Carter?
He's played in Toronto a lot of times. Like, how come now he's getting a standing ovation? So that to me feels like he's getting a lot of respect now, because you've always said that Toronto does not respect Vince Carter as much as the rest of the NBA and the world respect Vince Carter.
Yes. The caveat of that is that I have not been in Toronto for many, many years.
Yeah, and I think times have changed, and this is what I said in my notes, that time heals all wounds.
Right.
They look back at it retrospectively, and they see what Vince Carter did to the city in terms of putting it on the NBA map, and even the cultural map, because Vince Carter was that prolific of a player and that popular that he did so much for the city that way. And maybe back in the day he didn't deliver, championships or even mini playoff wins, but he was a cultural icon at that time. And I think when you look back at it, and Toronto fans look back at it now, and now I see they gave him a standing O, it really shows to me that they understand and respect what he did for so many seasons when he was in Toronto.
I'm going to have to ask a special favor from our many Toronto fans to tweet. Why are you laughing?
Go on. Yeah.
Our many Toronto fans to tweet us at YourFP and let us know what is the current vibe in Toronto regarding Vince Carter. Because
I think there's momentum for a statue. That's all.
Oh God! Don't say that. No, don't say. The only person that deserves a statue is DeMar DeRozan. I love DeMar DeRozan. Kayne, not so much.
DeMar DeRozan didn't do as much as Vince Carter did.
So much disrespect. What is the current fan feeling on Vince Carter? Okay, because on one hand, normally I would say, okay, it does feel like time heals all wounds, like you say. But because Kawhi is there right now, I wonder, is this just the fans playing nice because they're trying to demonstrate to Kawhi how they respect their former players?
That's interesting.
The skepticism.
It seems a little bit too strategic, though.
Yeah.
For like a huge mass of people to all come together, and also he also got a video highlight memorial. I don't know what you call it. Like highlights, and when he went to Brooklyn, when the Hawks played in Brooklyn, Vince Carter also got like a video memorial. I don't know what you call it. Highlight reel. Highlight reel of is like time in New Jersey.
You know, it's time to retire when people are playing memorial
videos
of you.
Yeah. All right, Vince Carter, 1980 to 2000 2000 question mark. He was a pretty good player, enough to get that love. I don't think Richard Jefferson, even though he played most of his career in New Jersey, never got his highlight reel.
Never a big RJ fan.
Fair enough.
I mean, I like him much better now as a commentator and stuff.
as
But
a
he had
TV
some
personality.
Yeah, he had some like weird shading pass.
Okay, we'll get into that next time.
You're always very hesitant to like dig into the dark side of some of these players.
I don't want you
especially your childhood heroes.
Yeah, I don't want you to ruin
Yeah.
my childhood.
Yeah, let me get my
Memories.
rape book here. Let's see what I have on. No, not so bad. Okay, the other huge news, well, maybe not huge, but interesting news is that now there's a definite timeline for Boogie Cousins to come back. And he's expected to debut on the 18th of January.
Yep.
And Steve Kerr said that he'll start, actually.
Oh, yeah?
He'll be in the starting lineup.
Like, just putting a perspective right here. Last season, this is off the top of my head, actually, but DeMarcus Cousins averaged, I think, almost 25 points and 14 rebounds or 13 rebounds. Like, that stat line is insane. Like, he's not going to get anywhere close to that because, obviously, he's playing with 4 All-Stars. But, you know, he himself is an All-Star. And if he can sort of if he's able to kind of share the spotlight, I guess, with 4 All-Stars, if he's capable of doing that and play within, and not having to need the ball to generate, like, points and stuff like that, if he can kind of do it from rebounds and, you know, hustle points and stuff like that, he's going to be such an effective piece because this team has been really missing a do-it-all offensive center since maybe Bogut. And Bogut was more of a defensive piece as well, but, like, you know, you could run a few plays with him on offense. And they won 73 games, obviously, with Bogut back in the day.
So I'm pretty surprised that he's getting back this early. I thought, because last year they were saying that he might not come back until the start of playoffs.
Yeah,
Now,
I think they were being even with this timeline, they're being very generous.
Okay.
With the time. Like, I think if it was a team that was desperate, like maybe if the Warriors were struggling and they were desperate, I think Cousins probably could have returned earlier.
Yeah.
And I doubt that he would be playing he would be on minutes restrictions as well, I reckon. I think they're going to take it easy with him and they just bring him back now because it's the halfway point of the season and they want to get him integrated into the team before playoff time. What's your Warriors winning championship percentage now that Boogie is kind of at the halfway point? You don't trust Boogie, do you?
I don't trust Boogie at all.
But you know his crazy stats.
He might be one of the best centers, if not the best center. Yeah, I'll give him that.
I don't know who is better than him at center.
I'm not sure. But we also know that he is very emotional lesbian. And that's not something that you need on a team that also has right now a bit of tension between KD and Draymond.
It definitely does have the components to detonate. Has the recipe, like the ingredients and the possibilities are there for it to kind of implode in itself. But in terms of basketball, sort of X's and O's, adding someone of that like player, that talent, basically.
Oh, it's insanity. It's not fair.
Yeah, on paper, it's
just not fair.
I don't know any team in history that can measure up to that.
I mean, even if he played 50%. Regular Boogie Cousin quality.
Oh yeah,
that's phenomenal, right? Yeah. The issue though is he capable of playing 50% Boogie? Because 50%, maybe 80% Boogie would cause emotional Boogie to come out and create all sorts of havoc in the locker room.
To be honest, even 30% Boogie is better than the centers. They don't even need a center to win a title. They've talented. Had JaVale McGee, Andrew Bogut, and Jordan Bell the past few years. And they've done fine with those guys, just collecting rebounds, getting, put back dunks, and just not running an offense. Now that they have a guy that can actually properly spread out the offense and be a focal point, even a focal point of the offense if they wanted to, he could be that kind of guy if he wanted to.
Is he capable of doing that? Right?
That's the question.
Because we know that if he's able to take down that role, I mean, it's game over, right? It's basically game over.
Should really be game over, but yeah.
Or is he going to create trouble, right? Because the other thing that's hanging over this is that he's on a contract year. And granted, he's coming back from injury, but I'm not sure if he's okay with scoring 9 points.
He has said publicly that he would like to return to the Warriors. I don't know what sort of contract that would be because seems
that's like weird.
Well, it seems a little, not fishy, but it seems a little bit weird.
How are you going to pay all those players?
Yeah, well, you can, but you just have to pay your nose with you have to pay tax out of the nose. Like, because Clay has said he wants to resign, and I think the Warriors would definitely
Is
try.
Draymond resigning next year?
Draymond, I think, still has a year to go.
What do you think about this? Draymond's not going to get the max.
I think someone will have to sacrifice. But Draymond has publicly said that he would not take a discount.
He's not going to get it. The Warriors aren't even going to give it to him. What do you think about that?
I think he should leave. Like, I think he's talked enough to the point where he thinks he's good enough to be a key piece on another team. Like, if he joins another team that's already on the precipice of maybe like playoff contention, or even like they're in the playoffs but they're not really getting to the finals, I think he feels like he can be a final piece to that team. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't mind that emotional sort of energy if he joined the Nets.
So he hasn't played well this year. So we don't know if it's just this year or if physically he's starting to...
That's true. He's reaching... I mean, how old is he now? Like, I think he's only 28. Yeah, he's 28 years. I mean, he's not the tallest dude.
But he's also not in great shape, right? He's never been top peak condition.
No, but I mean, he's such a physical player. I think maybe with the lack of fitness might be impacting his body a bit more than it should be.
He had some nagging, like small injuries as well.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But I think that stuff is more precautionary than like he could not go. Like, I think if the Warriors needed him, he probably would go, but he's not so essential to the team that like they even Steph like was out for, a number of games. I don't think because he was totally out. Like, maybe he was officially out for 2 games, but I think they rested him longer because just to be precautionary.
But the dilemma is we know that peak Draymond, which was what we've seen last couple of years.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year, not a huge stat getter, but worth every penny that you pay him, right?
Sure, of course.
But if he loses a step, then what is that Draymond? Less than peak Draymond might not be so effective.
Yeah, and I think, like, you're right, like, he's reaching up there in age now, and, do you want a John Wall situation or Kevin Love situation when you pay those guys the max because it's a bit of a legacy kind of thing, like, they deserve it because they've been playing so long and not the max. From a team's perspective and as a fan's perspective, I fear that he is going to demand the max, and he's going to be paid close to $40 million as a 32-year-old, and he's not going to be in his prime, and he's going to not be in the best shape, and he's not not even close to being a defensive player. Like, he's actually a liability, and you're paying this guy $30 million. Clay is much more sustainable player because he can shoot. Steph and Clay are players that Steph is rated on the supermax, but Clay makes sense on the max as well because he can shoot and do a lot of things. Draymond seems like you could replace him with maybe Kevin Looney or Jordan Bell right now. DeMarcus Cousins, maybe he accepts lesser than max deal. Maybe he's that charitable. KD,
Well, that's a
we've
max.
heard a bunch of rumors that he might leave. Do you want to pay a 31-year-old Draymond?
No, you don't. And
$30 million.
It's not about do you. The question is not even do you want. It's like will they? Because I don't think they will, and I don't think other teams they might not as well. Because the thing is, it just so worked out that Draymond's contract he's caught in the middle, right, where he peaked a bit too early almost. Because we still have 2 years almost before he signs that new contract.
Well, I think he played 4 seasons possibly at Michigan.
Yeah.
I want to double check that actually. And obviously, when you play longer in college, you're just going to have, less time to take advantage of your contracts.
So if Draymond doesn't improve this year, and he doesn't improve, let's say, part of next year, beginning of next year, I'm not sure if there's going to be a max contract for him. The other thing you're going to see is more of the narrative coming out of, oh, look at John Wall. A broken down John Wall getting this massive, stuck on that contract. Oh, look at Chris Paul. A broken down Chris Paul. So that's going to start making people remind people, oh, this is a danger of overpaying for someone who potentially is injured.
There's a ton of warning signs on multiple teams.
Yeah.
And Draymond also, his skills aren't translatable in a later age than Chris Paul, who Chris Paul can still facilitate and score and shoot the ball.
I mean, I do agree with you. He deserves the max, not because that's his current value, but in terms of they owe it to him.
Yeah, they do.
For what he's done for the organization.
And that's why Steph Curry, they didn't hesitate paying Steph Curry over $40 million a year because he was playing years where he was getting paid $11 million a year. And he won 2 MVPs when he was on that contract. So, obviously...
We're going to have to see. I mean, the other thing that changes is if KD leaves, then obviously that changes the equation quite a bit.
I think so too, but I think, like you said, I think the Warriors are a bit too smart of an organization to just give in to a you've earned it kind of thing. So, we're just going to pay you the max kind of thing and restrict our salary.
The Lakers are the only team that I can think of that did that with Kobe.
Yeah. But it's fair enough. They weren't winning games, and Kobe still sells out seats. It kind of pays for itself. Yeah. Not in salary cap, obviously, and not in team flexibility.
And in hindsight, that might have been a good investment. Showing actually players like a LeBron that, hey, look, we take care of our players because we're the Lakers.
And that's a good point. Like, I think at that point, in 2 years' time, the Warriors could, technically win another 2 titles. Even without KD, Draymond, Clay, and Steph, they could still win another championship. It's not out of the realm possibility just because you lose KD, they're not in the they've won 73 games with those 3 core guys. They could win another championship because they're still in the prime.
Obviously, the All-Star Game's coming up next month, and I think in the latest, KD might not even get voted as a starter.
Yep. Can I tell you the top 4 in terms of front court?
Yeah.
So LeBron James is number 1.
Obviously.
He'll get him. He's 2.7 million votes. Luka Doncic from the Mavs, the rookie that we talked about earlier, not that far behind, 2.2 million votes. So he would be starting
That's
alongside.
Insulting. Give his votes to LeBron, please.
Paul George is the final starter on the front court. So we have Luka Doncic as a front court player is weird actually. But yeah, so they have 3 small forwards, I guess, on the front court. I don't know how that would work in a proper lineup.
Well, it's All-Star Game. Doesn't.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, Paul George. And Paul George is playing really well right now. He's getting some MVP talk as well.
Level.
Yeah. He's the best scorer on the Thunder. But only just behind Paul George is KD. And definitely DeMarcus Cousins is getting votes too. So this is
That's
a little
stupid.
This is a little bit homer. But because you know how it works in terms of voting, right?
Yeah.
The fans, I think they 50%. Or I forget. Well, I don't know how the piece of the
How many votes
works.
has Yao Ming gotten this year?
Yeah, Yao Ming is 8th in the vote. But I mean, talking about that, Jeremy Lin is 8th in the guards in the East. He has 200,000 votes. He's in front of Goran Dragic, who hasn't played at all, so he's also getting a lot of
They should
love
probably fix that system if Jeremy
and
Lin.
Beal actually is a all-star, should be a returning all-star.
I'm actually really surprised that KD hasn't had the votes yet. He's basically the second best player, right?
Yeah.
Either him or Kawhi.
Actually, this East team is so stacked. Joel Embiid at center, Kawhi Leonard, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. How can you stop that?
Oh man,
is crazy.
You just run away. You basically just turn away and let him dunk.
Yeah.
Let him dunk.
On the guards are Kyrie Irving is number
boy.
1, and Dwayne Wade is number 2.
Respect. That's respect.
So there's respect. Just to remind you, the game this year is in Charlotte, and Kemba Walker is currently 3rd.
Okay.
Do you think, because I doubt Dwayne Wade would get voted in as a starter, even if he does finish 2nd?
Yeah.
And he will because he has a sizable number of votes over Kemba Walker. But if Dwayne Wade finishes voting by the public, he won't get in because the media and the coaches and the players also get a vote. Get a piece of the vote. Because in the past, it's always been 100% fans.
Right.
And the fans do not make the right decision.
I just know the fans love Yao Ming.
Yeah, clearly they did not make the right decision because they vote for guys like Jeremy Lin and Goran Dragic. And they have barely played. And they've barely played.
Jeremy,
he's
tweet
played.
us.
Jeremy Lin's played, but he's not an all-star player.
Linsanity, you're a PFP, please.
But Dwayne Wade, obviously, he gets a lot of love because it's his farewell tour.
So the coaches and players might vote him out of respect.
He will definitely get in, for sure. But not because he's a better player than Ben Simmons or Victor Oladipo or even Kyle Lowry.
Right.
Kemba Walker, I think, will get the start with Irving. And I think it's a good decision because, it's a Charlotte hosting and stuff like that. Do you want to just talk about the game that just happened?
Okay, breaking news. So some controversy, I hear.
Some controversy, yes. So Kyrie Irving and the Celtics just lost to the Magic. Happened just a few moments ago. And then Kyrie Irving sounded off on his young core. So according to Keith Smith of NBA, he said Kyrie Irving had a lot to say in his post-game.
Little Mountain, let's hear it.
The young guys don't know what it takes to be a championship-level team. What it takes every day. And if they think it is hard now, what do they think it will be like when we're trying to get to the finals?
I would say that they're probably thinking it'd be a lot easier if Kyrie wasn't here on our team.
No. This also happened after Kyrie was upset on the last play. They were down 2 points. Gordon Hayward was inbounds passing it, and he passed it to Jason Tatum to take the last shot instead of Kyrie. And Kyrie was visibly upset.
Oh, okay.
That Hayward passed it to Tatum
Instead of him.
and like you can see, like he threw.
I love it.
Threw his arms up.
Oh, Little Mountain.
Very upset that he wasn't chosen. Should we get into it, or? Because I feel like this could be a 10-minute, like a 20-minute discussion. I feel.
I mean, we don't want to discuss it for 20 minutes, but I'm looking at a score now. I mean, I can understand the frustration. They lost by 2 points. What is this narrative that Kyrie, or this conviction that Kyrie has in his head that people view him as a leader of the team? Do you think Kyrie's a leader? Like, he's not a veteran. He's not a leader.
He's not a veteran.
He's a good player.
He's a very good player.
He's the best player on the team.
He's the best player on the team, and to your point, I think I think that he feels like he's earned it because he has a ring.
Not because of him.
Okay, I think you're right, because yes, LeBron was the heart and soul of that. I don't think LeBron would be in that situation if it wasn't for Kyrie's shot.
I can't argue there. That's true.
That was a
That's
big
true.
time shot.
It's a big time shot.
If you remember that
Yeah.
game, that was a stalemate for like 4 minutes or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
No one was hitting
Grueling.
any points. LeBron got the block. Yes, that probably sparked it.
Yeah.
That was a big time block. And that is something that is what the city will remember when they look back at the championship.
Yeah.
It was the block.
It's like the impossible block.
But then after the block was a shot.
yes,
And it wasn't LeBron that did the shot. It was Kyrie who hit the big time
Oh.
shot.
that's true.
And I think that he feels that because of this, because he won, basically,
Yeah.
over the best team of all time, based on win totals,
Yeah.
he feels that he's earned the right to be called a leader. And he came to this team because they wanted him to be that mentor. And
Oh my God, that sounds so wrong and incorrect.
and you know what you're saying? You're basically disagreeing with Danny Ainge.
Okay, wait.
You're
wait,
saying
that's
Danny-
true.
You're saying
I take that back.
Danny Ainge made the wrong decision.
Oh wait, I take
by
it back
trading
now.
for trading for Kyrie Irving instead of relying on his young core to step up.
But maybe that Danny Ainge there's levels to this. He's playing on some other level. He's
Okay.
got this figured out. I don't know. But like, come on, man. Like, Kyrie Irving is not a veteran leader in the locker room.
But it depends how you define veteran. Like, he's been to the highest and lowest mountains.
He
Like,
is a crazy man who does not. He doesn't even believe the Earth is round. Okay, how's that a?
He's lost a number of years in NBA, and then he's won. And then he played with LeBron and won a bunch of games and won a championship. Like,
He is a conspiracy theorist and is against America.
well, what has this got to do with basketball?
Okay, we'll cut out that part. Sorry, I've let my feelings towards Kyrie come out.
No, I think this is healthy.
Kyrie, if I was Kyrie, just like keep quiet. Don't. I really think that the players in that locker room, they view LeBron as the leader of that team. I don't think they thought Kyrie was some equal in terms of voice or
But
leadership.
do you think in the totem pole of what you said, the voice and leadership, do you think Kevin Love got that more than Kyrie?
Or even James Jones? I don't know. Like, Kyrie unquestionably was the second best player on the team, but as that vocal, respected leader, and by that I mean someone who's level-headed, who is able to gather people and get them to share in a common goal. I'm not sure if that's Kyrie. And he has that sort of Kobe Bryant Jr. mentality.
Well, I guess to your point, I guess we'll see, because basically the Celtics made it to the conference finals without Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
And they went to 7 games against LeBron, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good achievement.
Yeah.
For this young core. So if plus Kyrie Irving can't, if he can't will this team to a finals appearance, then you're probably right. And
They're not going to go to the finals. No way.
But they have to.
They have to, right?
This is the Celtics made it to 7 games against LeBron James, and now LeBron James has left the conference, and now it's like open ground, like it's up for grabs.
And they're worse.
And
now.
they're
Yeah.
worse now, but they're still very talented. Like they can still get together, and maybe yes, I'm also starting to doubt that they can get together with Kyrie Irving as the the emotional leader of the team
No.
and a veteran and the leader of this team. However you would call
Kyrie
it.
might be the emotional leader in Sacramento. I'd say not in Boston.
But I think we'll see. I think it's. I still believe in us. I still believe the Celtics have a chance making the finals. You've said to me privately, like, you don't believe Kyrie Irving is the answer to this Celtics like championship run. And I think that this latest outburst has shown that it's starting to unravel. Because also the other day, Jaylen Brown in the huddle was fighting with Marcus Morris.
Okay.
And like Jaylen Brown's this young, hot-headed dude that thinks he's the best player on the team kind of thing. Which is a fine way to look at things. Like, you have to believe in yourself. You have to think, you're better than everyone else. But you also, like you said, you have to be level-headed and you have to be composed. And
That's
I think
exactly
Marcus Morris kind of like took him down a peg a bit, just to say, hey, like, dude, calm down. Like,
Yeah. That's exactly
I don't know what the what they were saying or whatever, but
It's
there was a bit of a heatedness in the huddle.
It's times like this when they lose by 2 points and everyone's super frustrated that the last thing the team is looking for is Kyrie Irving playing the veteran card or the rank card or the skill card.
And also he also threw his teammates under the bus.
Or that, you don't know what it's like. I've been to the finals. Kyrie, before LeBron was there, you were like fist fighting with Dion Waiters and being the worst team in the NBA. It's times like this where it would have been better if he just kept his mouth shut and then demonstrated it or been more positive towards the team.
Or this could be the catalyst for a turnaround.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but like that same sort of criticism for Kyrie is like what a lot of people have said about Russell Westbrook for a long time.
Okay.
That he's like hot-headed and he's super emotional and he lets his passion play out in negative ways on the court more than positive.
Yeah.
I was talking about this at the beginning, before we started the podcast, but just in regards to the Thunder and Spurs game where it went to double overtime. The Spurs won, but do you know what Westbrook's stat line was?
No, what
Scored
was it?
24 points, 24 assists, and 13 rebounds.
Okay.
So obviously 24 points is not a big amount, but to me the 24 assists showed that he was willing to give the ball up more to players that were in good position to score. And Kyrie Irving has never kind of shown that. Kyrie Irving is capable of scoring 40 points and 8 assists and 5 rebounds kind of thing. Like that's a very good stat line. And obviously points, we all love points. Points is sexy. But I want to see Kyrie Irving dish out 20 assists or something like that. Because he's got so much offensive firepower.
The entire team, the Celtics' entire team, had 19 assists today.
Right.
So what does that tell you? That tells you there's something wrong with this team, right? The ball is not probably moving as it should.
No. Yeah.
It's getting in the hands of people that are trying to take over the game somehow.
Yeah.
Or trying to impose their will. And that's a problem with Kyrie. He tries to just dominate with the ball and try to score them out of the slump or whatever.
And that was the problem with Westbrook, at least early in his career. Like, even though he was winning MVPs and getting a lot of accolades and love and, people calling him a top 5 player, he wasn't able to lead his team to the next level because he was being selfish with the ball. And I agree, Kyrie Irving needs to understand that himself and start to delegate. Yeah.
But I'll say this. Danny Ainge is a bad mother. He will trade you. He will trade Isaiah Thomas.
Well, he might not need to be traded because Kyrie Irving...
Isaiah Thomas is getting $0 right now, sitting at home.
Well, Kyrie Irving becomes a free agent end of this year.
Yeah.
So I'll just say this. We've given a lot of props and deservedly to Danny Ainge for a number of seasons for, obviously the trade with the Nets and then turning those picks into Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Kyrie Irving. They traded their first round pick for Kyrie Irving this year. But it could be all for naught. Like the dream scenario is Kyrie Irving, Anthony. Okay, maybe you don't trust in Kyrie Irving, but I still think Kyrie Irving with Anthony Davis and maybe some combination of Jason Tatum with Jaylen Brown or some other player. Like this could be a very, very dangerous team still.
Right.
But there's also the possibility that Kyrie Irving plays his way out of town because they just believe in Jason Tatum. Anthony Davis is still not a free agent until the following off season, and then maybe he signs with the Lakers. They might be all the way back to Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, which is still quite high ceiling, but compared to the highs that you could have achieved with this kind of war chest of trade assets you have, it's a bit of a bungling.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ask me, if they do not get a keep or get Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving.
Don't forget, my impression is that the Boston fans, they're tough. If a player like Kyrie is saying things that people view as being maybe arrogant or disrespectful, the fans would turn on him, right? If he's saying this stuff to Gordon Hayward, the last time I checked, he was a forward in white, and that is a very valued commodity,
desirable trait for
Celtic. They were willing to pay a lot for Kevin Love when no one else in the league wanted.
This is the thing though. Like I feel like they feel confident because they have the pieces together. But Anthony Davis, and we've seen with Paul George as well. I mean, I know that might be a anomaly, but you don't know these players. Money's not everything, and they want to win. And yeah, actually, the Celtics are pretty good, but you don't know. Maybe they change their mind, and AD goes to or re-signs with the Pelicans, or goes to the Lakers, or
please go to the
goes
Lakers.
to some weird team. He joins the Raptors with Kawhi because Kawhi resigns.
Whoa, that would be insane.
You don't know. You don't know how it's gonna turn out, and
if that happens, I'm moving back to Toronto.
That would be fun.
Can you imagine that?
AD and
Kawhi,
and maybe KD.
Yeah.
KD joins Toronto as well because KD is a free agent as well.
Yeah.
KD, AD, and
oh man,
and
imagine
Kawhi.
that fan base. It'd be yeah.
That would be a crazy team.
So we'll see. We're gonna follow this. Maybe we should talk a bit about fan requests because we have.
Yeah, they just wanted us to talk about Yao Ming and the controversy around Yao Ming possibly being procreated selectively by the government.
Oh boy.
And the government selected two tall people to procreate and create a player.
Yeah.
Or create a kid.
Yeah.
Who they could put into their training system. I'll paraphrase as best as I can, but basically, this is an article by the Sydney Morning Herald. So this is the first one I found in 2006, Chinese Olympic, pre the China Olympics. So basically, they talk about the Houston Rockets center, who's back then was playing for the Houston Rockets, Yao Ming, and in his formative years, he underwent years of punishing training as one of the hundreds of thousands of potential Chinese athletes who endure miserable childhoods in boot camp conditions. And this was something that was a revelation that was highlighted by journalists and talking about the Soviet-style sports system that China has implemented for years, decades.
So what's this article saying? Is this article saying that he was
I'm just giving you a bit of listeners the background on China's training methods and how a bunch of Chinese kids are taken away from school to basically train to be an athlete.
Yeah. So our fan, he's asking, or
so basically, he's asking basically, what's the deal? Is Yao Ming a product of Chinese government intervention and manipulation?
Okay. So being Chinese myself, I am definitely an expert in this topic.
Do you have a take? Maybe not a take. Well, what's your feelings on this? I guess
I would say that Fan X. This is just conspiracy theory.
Oh, really?
This is not true. Because if this was actually true, the results has been very poor because we've produced only one Yao Ming. What's the return on investment there? They're better off not doing anything and letting nature take its course.
I suppose so, but
I would say it's more like this. Some of these articles, they try to frame it as there's these government people in weird government clothes concocting these super babies.
Sure.
It's probably more primitive than that. It's probably more like, hey, look, man, you're freakishly tall and you're not going to get any sort of ladies around here, okay? Because your average Chinese girl is not looking to date someone that's 7'6" or 8 foot tall. So why don't we hook you up with someone that's also equally tall and happens to also play basketball? I don't think the government actually handpicked these people and go, look, you must marry this person and then you must produce an heir who then must also play basketball.
I don't think Yao Ming had a choice. But
he didn't have a choice, not because he was forced to do it, because of his natural situation and context. It would have been advantageous for him to go down that path.
Advantageous and forced.
Forced as in, if he didn't want to play basketball, the government will be like, oh, okay, we're taking you away from your parents and, putting you somewhere.
Yeah, they did, yeah. That's what I think they do.
No. Well, this is where the conspiracies come in, right? I don't think the government would force you to do any of this. But what they'll present to you is probably a very rational thing, which is, look, your mom plays basketball, your dad plays basketball, you are very tall. And growing up, being that height, you're kind of freakish, okay? People are maybe a bit afraid of you. But look, on the basketball court, people love you. Why don't you play basketball a bit?
I think this is cute.
Yeah.
But I think this is not the world. This is the same, okay, I don't want to alienate.
Yeah. Our Chinese fans, please tweet your hate mail to your FP. Direct them at Kayne, though.
Any publicity is good publicity. But I'll just say this. This is the same government that took children away. I don't know if you read this article, but basically the schools are being overpopulated. Right. So basically they forced certain kids, I don't know how they selected them, but they forced certain kids to move away into the country. And then they forced the parents to pay for the tuition for these private schools away in the country. And so basically they're taking kids away. Possibly Chinese athletics and Chinese sport programs are modern now compared to those standards back then. But back then, we cannot say for sure what the standards were. And maybe this has a bit of conspiraciness to it, but I am totally believing that the government forced these athletic Yao Ming's parents, who are both athletic, to procreate and create this wonder child.
Did Tinder force you to date people?
But force is they probably pay them handsomely to have sex.
I believe that.
Have sex with each other.
I can believe that there's possibly financial incentive for them to have children.
Yes.
I can definitely believe that.
Okay.
But not forced in the sense that if you don't do this,
then we'll kill your dad or something.
We'll kill your dad.
Actually, I didn't believe that.
Yeah, or maybe that happened as well. But the next level of this question then would be: do you think Yao Ming is still under the control of the government? Because at this stage, he could have stayed in America. He's famous enough where the government couldn't have done anything to him.
That's true.
But yet he is very positive. He's not saying, "Hey, I don't like my government because they kidnapped my grandparents so that my mom and dad artificially."
I think this is a problem with China.
Yeah.
But I think I gotta get this out. There is a huge gap in the wealth. People that have
can I just project for our Chinese overlords overhearing this through our phones? Can I just make it clear? This is my voice. I'm David, and the other one that's Kayne. Okay.
So this is David speaking right now.
No, that's not David. That's not David.
And this is how I feel. There is a huge disparity in wealth in China. Okay? Yes?
Yes.
The people that are living in prosperity have nothing against the government because the government have given them everything, all the prosperity and all the wealth that they ever need. They are born into it. You're set up for life. Why do you have any ill will towards the government? So Yao Ming himself has probably his entire life been treated very nicely by the government. He has nothing but positive vibes towards the government because he doesn't know the other side. I mean, he does. But he doesn't want to know because the government has treated him so well. They've set him with his life. The parents are treated well. All his family is treated well. Why would he want to turn his back to the Chinese government that's given him so much? And they're not asking much back. They say, hey, you go live in America if you want. Go live wherever you want. You're famous. Obviously, we're not going to kidnap you. We can't kidnap you. You're 8 feet tall. People will know about this.
Yeah.
But
the Rockets will be like, what happened to that 8-foot player on our team? How come we haven't seen him in a while.
But they've created this illusion. Basically, they own you,
right?
Because through kindness and financial incentives and all these good things that a lot of people in China, the majority of Chinese people, aren't given the privilege of. And this is David again speaking. And this is my and this is my thought. And if I don't see you next week, please tell my parents I love them. Please tell Joanne I miss her. But I'll say this. Can I just so that to be honest, I think that I don't know. Okay, you don't have to give me your thoughts. Yeah. But I think that is 100%. That is 100% correct. Jackie Chan is pro Chinese.
Oh yeah.
He's a Hong Kong person through and through.
Yeah.
He represents Hong Kong. He loves China. He's Hong Kong personified, right? But in the recent umbrella revolution, where people a lot of Hong Kong people were protesting in the streets about the perception of democracy in Hong Kong with the government, Jackie Chan went out and supported the pro-Chinese, the mainland government, the mainland stance. Because bit of context, the Chinese government gets to control who runs for Hong Kong government.
Yes.
And Hong Kong, where the way it's set up is it's technically its own government.
Right.
But if it's owned by a pro-Chinese stance official, then they're just going to listen to whatever the Chinese people say.
They get to select the people that get into those seats.
And that's not democracy. Right. If basically China decides who runs for who runs for your office, and you go choose two people and they're both pro-Chinese people, that is not democracy. Right. Even though it is this illusion of democracy because people get choice, but the choice isn't actually real because you only get to choose between two people or whatever. Yeah. But they're all of the same side. And this is my point, because Jackie Chan has no affiliation with China, and you could say he's been paid off or whatever the case is.
Did he have a earpiece when he was giving those
I don't know.
speeches?
I don't know. But whatever the case is, Jackie Chan is a very affluent person, right?
Yeah. So if you're saying, does the mainland government have... Oh, by the way, this is David talking here. This is David talking. A Chinese background. Just let's get that straight.
I'm also of Chinese
Kayne,
descent.
not so sure. I would say that the mainland, yes, has massive amounts of lobbying power in Hong Kong.
Yes.
But is that any different than how corporations lobby for politicians in the U.S.? Hong Kong, this is getting very political, but I was going to say, I was actually talking to my dad, who's, by the way, also Chinese. Again, David's voice here. But I think, from the central government's perspective, they're also very aware and careful about this, right? Because don't forget, there's also Taiwan that's out there. So, being too aggressive on Hong Kong is probably also not beneficial for the look of China. Because
Are you listening to yourself?
Because as we know, there's tall people in Taiwan as well.
Oh yeah, this is what it comes down to. I think also Taiwan people are generally very pretty as well.
Oh really? I've never been. Have you been to Taiwan?
I've been once. I would like to go again though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also
are there people they're potentially being kidnapped to create basketball babies?
I really do. Like, I just want to end on a positive note. I think China is an amazing country. It is a very big and vast country that has tons of beauty and landmarks all spread out across China. It's a massive country. I implore everyone to go visit China. I think we went a little bit over.
We went way
At
more
first,
over
when I started
time.
talking, I didn't think there was much to talk about because. So once again,
we've gone over.
I don't like China, and my name's David. I live in Sydney.
Don't give out my address.
My number is 04.
That's all the time we have for you. Take it away, mate.
Mississippi to the Palm Springs. Girls from brunettes down to blonde queens. These young boys don't know what a Don mean. I'm just a bad boy gone clean. I'm the diamond chain choker, always remain sober. Don't drink liquor and all the game's over. Need a plane? I explained it to my broker. 3 bots in the hood, top down, and ain't over. You know there's more, man, where that come from? Me and Kuda love rolling back to back in one. See the names have all changed since I've been around, but the game ain't the same since I left out.
You've been listening to your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. If you enjoyed our show, please tweet us at yourfpfp, PFP, 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 PFP,